this is the best beer we've had so far. This beer has a sediment type of texture to it as you keep it in your mouth and swirl. This beer is boozy. It has, while being light, it has a boozy fixture to it. The taste, a lot of tastes going on. There's a tartness, there's a crispness, there's an oak flavor, maybe like a dark chocolate with oak, a little bit of smoky, almost a type of decomposition in it. Could be a burned flesh. There's definitely been some burned flesh going into this beer. There was a lot of death on this farm. This farm's a big tragedy. There was a fire. There was a horrible fire. I want to stop thinking about the fire. I can't stop thinking about the fire. My skin is hot. It's melting. The skin just falls off. All of Ayinger's just dry wheat. Hey, we got a good beer on the docket today.
Good beer.
We were taking inventory of what we've done so far, and our beer list is paltry. We have Kona Longboard as number 1, and then Rainier, Molson, Miller Lite, and Olympia. So we went to our local QFC, and we splurged a little bit. We're drinking today
Ayinger. Ayinger.
What was that?
Ayinger.
One more time.
Ayinger.
Okay.
Ayinger.
Okay.
Ayinger Bräu. So this is authentic Bavarian Hefeweizen, available worldwide and imported from Ayinger, Germany.
Ayinger.
So Ayinger Brewery, we decided we're going to have the best beer that we can, and we went to Hefeweizen because that's what they had on the shelf.
We looked along the shelf. They have the beer scores on there conveniently for us. Mm-hmm. So somebody was rating these beers, and this one had a, 97, I believe?
97, according to some rating. Did you find a different rating from...
Yes, beeradvocate.com, our go-to site for the baseline rating, gives it a 92. Both the
92?
The experts and the bros give it a 92.
I think we hadn't, before this, reviewed a beer that was above awful, right? Or...
No, one...
Olympia or something?
Longboard lager was... Okay.
Okay. So this is actually a good beer, and I have to agree, it actually is a good beer.
It's a good beer.
And it got us thinking, like, maybe when we buy this beer, we should just actually try to review it and break down what makes it a good beer and why someone would rate it the way it is.
And that's what we did in the opening.
Of course, and we got to a logical conclusion, but the reason we got scared is because, wow, we don't fucking know what we're talking about with beer. But I don't think that stops... anybody from doing anything.
Yeah.
I think we could have just faked our way into this and talked about everything that we've pulled up on fucking Wikipedia and talked about how it's by far the best beer we've drank. It blows all these other Pilsners out of the water. But I can't honestly tell you why this blows anything out of the water other than it just tastes good.
Yeah. And to get to your earlier point, there's a book that was released recently called The Death of Expertise, where people don't care about expertise, and they think they could just do it themselves.
When did expertise die?
The day the music died.
Is it
Buddy
because
Holly's
of technology?
Plunged. I know nothing about the book. I saw a New York Times review about it, saw the headline, did not read deeper.
Not an expert.
I'm not
in
an
this
expert
book.
on this matter. It's called, the stub headline is The Campaign Against Established Knowledge and Why It Matters.
Right. So essentially, it's Trump getting elected. It's
it's a breakdown of hierarchies and mistrust of the establishment,
pundits.
so to speak. Are you a political pundit?
Lifelong experts. No, I mean, that's fair because we all use it as a method for determining what the best movies, music, whatever are.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, even best art, things like that, but in a lot of cases, art is a subjective experience. And I think in a lot of ways, beer is too. We can tell there is an objective difference between drinking Molson Canadian and this Bräu. It's a much higher quality beer. But I think getting into the whys kind of defeats the purpose about it unless you're unless you truly are an expert or a connoisseur of beers, and that in and of itself is a hobby of breaking that down. But How is that any different than being an expert or whatever into like a movie and just breaking down your favorite scenes and what you thought was interesting and not like that's still a hollow. You're just a fanboy.
Yeah. I think when you're a beer reviewer, you have like clear sinuses and can taste every aspect of something.
Are you enjoying it any
Like
more
there's a
than
certain
just...
level of thing. I think people enjoy being an expert on things or being able to experience something on a different level. So maybe that's why.
How many of those people do you think are enjoying the actual challenge of being an expert and sort of...
What people are we talking about here first?
I don't know. We kind of got lost in the
The
weeds a little
straw
bit.
man, yeah.
I think there's a couple of flavors of people who would sit down and break down a beer like this Ayinger Bräu Weisse.
Ayinger.
There would be people who actually truly appreciate the beer like a fine wine or fine art and want to get together and discuss it. And I totally get that, and I'm not discounting that. But what's the breakdown of people who are interested in these beer scores of those people, a handful of people who are the master sommeliers of beer, or people who just, I don't know, need like a qualification and a breakdown and a ranking system in their life? And
Yeah, I think it's that.
because they're uncomfortable with the subjectivity of things like art and fucking drinking beer and it tastes good.
Right. But they want to make sure when they're paying $3.99 for a pint of beer, they're getting their money's worth, you know?
Right.
That's why they need to see the 97 on there.
Right. And then furthermore, are there a group of people that are just 100% full of shit and doing their own small amount of research and then creating some blog?
Guilty.
And some, yes, we're on our own podcast. But you know what I mean? Like profiting off of the being an expert.
Yeah.
And it's just hollow bullshit. And I don't know. I think people get caught up in the scores and the rankings and the competition of it all and all of these things, including enjoying a delicious beer and
Ice cold beverage.
just, yeah, they can't just enjoy a nice cold can. Ooh, this makes me burpy.
Hey, yeah, me too. Maybe
I
the
think
score's going down.
Any type of these wheat beers make me a little burpy. Wheat ale with spicy, crisp taste, unfiltered. Ayinger at the foot of the Bavarian Alps is one of the world's most respected breweries, family owned and operated since 1878.
So that type
That's
of
older
thing
than
is
me.
like playing into the whole, you know,
Sure.
expertise and like exclusivity and things like that. Whereas cheaper beers are more just like, you know, you can drink this, get it drunk and not be fat
Right.
is like the main thing.
Yeah, is there a good example of a beer that isn't playing into the expertise and the connoisseur mentality, but is just a fucking damn good beer that's just on par with something like this? Honestly, a thing like Kona, I mean, aren't they similar styles? Hefeweizen, Kona's just a
Kona's a longboard lager is a lager. But they even have their own. I remember on the bottle it was something about like the premium water from somewhere in Hawaii or
Right.
something like that. Man, this is making me burpy too.
these wheat beers. Yeah, they're
Can
burpy.
hardly speak.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy into it, and I frankly roll my eyes at nearly everybody who starts talking.
Do you do
to
this
me
in
about,
every facet of life, like the movies?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Honestly, these so-called experts, it just kills me.
It's the death of expertise.
Yeah, I guess
The titular death of expertise.
in like video games, when somebody's leaving like a review of the enjoyment they got from that video game, it doesn't make any fucking sense. What do you mean this game is a 92%? There's a small part of the enjoyment which is, hey, this game or this movie or whatever is just not well made. But there's a whole bigger part of it, which is there's a subjective story, and this is a piece of art that you should experience made by an artist. And I think beer falls in that realm.
So do you have a problem with the people leaving these reviews or people who put stock in
Both,
these reviews?
and more of a problem with people who are putting stock into these reviews and letting that fucking run everything that they do. But also the people who are profiting off of that mentality, because it's a cycle.
Yeah,
The more
it is.
people that are feeding into this, I'm an expert, I'm a review, I will tell you what movies to see and what movies to skip, and I'll tell you what beers to drink and what not.
And yeah, profiting doesn't even mean money necessarily. It's just like power or influence
yeah,
or like
fame and influence,
social,
which comes with money usually, yeah. But then all of it leads everybody to just say, I don't know, you stop appreciating the exploration of any of these things, and you just go, I only need to see the best. I want to get the hype. I don't want to miss out on the hype.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leads to essentially what is corruption, and is then people telling you, no matter what the fucking quality is, we're going to separate the product from this whole separate weird ecosystem of reviews. And now we're just going to assign reviews to this beer because we want to make so-and-so more money. And then, I don't know, it just kills the experience in that way.
Well, I think
there's a whole
part
separate
of the
economy around that.
Yeah. Part of the reliance on the ratings and things of that nature is because people, quote unquote, don't want to waste their time. Like, I think that's a result of the culture we have in America. Everyone wants to get the most efficiency out of every single thing.
Save time, save money.
Save time, save money, be happy, finally.
Yeah, that will make me happy, not enjoying this fucking beer that I wanted.
Right, but everyone's trying to make the most, quote unquote, out of their time. And so they're like, if I'm going to sit here and watch a movie with my bitch husband, I want to make sure
Happy you took it.
I want to make sure it's worth my while.
Yeah. I get it, but there is an enjoyment in exploration. People don't say that about travel, do they? Rank me the best places. I want to see the best vista.
I think people do that all the time.
It's just such a bummer. There's
people who go on like a tour bus through a region.
Yes,
they're like,
I think we got to our analogy. The tour bus to the region are these goddamn ranking scores, and they're this mentality of breaking down what makes a beer good and what makes it bad by somebody's standards. That's what this is. And so it takes you further away from just the enjoyment of the thing. All of this said, this is a pretty good beer. It's better than the 5 beers I think that we drank.
Or are we digressing already from our big sociological study here?
No, but I like the analogy of that's why I get in the tour bus. Show me the sites. That's the best bang for the buck. I want value and I want bang for the buck.
Yeah.
And I don't want to enjoy anything else.
Yeah.
And
I want a picture of myself here, and
Yes.
that's it.
Give me a selfie that I did do this so I can put it on Facebook and prove to everybody else I did all the best things. I'm the best consumer on earth. I don't know. You just fucking lose sight of what's good.
Yeah.
And you
There's
lose
some
enjoyment.
kind of contradiction, though, in someone who will try new things but relies on the quote-unquote expertise of someone else. So, like, normally a person who would have that mentality would never try anything else. They would just be like, I know what's good, I'm sticking to it. But then there's this next level where they're like sort of exploring, but also, want it to be as good as what they already know.
Yeah, it's the wrong way to solve that problem, though. Like, if you have the problem of, I like Arby's and I'm not going to fucking go anywhere. I'm capped out at Applebee's and there's just nothing better on earth. And if that's how you're going to live your life, then there's a different way to solve that problem than to have an expert come in and go, look, I know everything there is to know about food, and I'll give you the top 1, 2, and 3 restaurants, and you go to those, and then now you'll know everything there is to know because you're now an expert and are living the expert life. I went through the grunt work for you and gave you the best cream of the crop, the bang for your bucko.
Well, maybe part of it's obedience then. Like, people want to be told what to do.
Yes,
so
which
they're
is just
not left
killing
out.
their humanity.
Yeah. Or they're... or reinforcing their humanity as a beautiful baby child in in Mother Nature's earth.
Yeah, it gives order and relevance to the world.
You give money to someone so they make you do something.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the ultimate.
It's religion.
Yeah.
Okay, we've come a long way today.
There we go.
Ayinger Bräu. What's your take? Again, number 1, Kona Longboard, 2, Rainier, 3, Molson, 4, Miller Lite, and 5, Olympia so far.
Are we going to read through the entire list every episode?
Yes.
All the way up to 100?
Eventually these episodes are going to be 45 minutes long. I have number 65, number 66. What's your take?
What was the name of this beer again?
Ayinger.
Okay. I like it. I'm not a huge Hefeweizen fan traditionally.
Ayinger.
But this Ayinger stuff...
I missed it. There we go.
Is hitting the palate quite well. I agree it's getting me a little burpy, but I do like the taste.
That's any wheat beer.
Maybe that's what it is. But with our German descent, we should be able to gut this with no problem.
I can't. My gut don't take it.
You American swine.
But it's still better, right? I mean...
Yes, I enjoy it a lot. It's 5.1% alcohol, but don't hold that against it.
It does drink light apart from the burpees.
Yeah. A little bit burpy. I like the words spicy and crisp when associated with taste.
It is,
so
honestly.
they're getting me there.
Yeah,
and I think it follows through, yeah. It hits that home.
It's like you taste the spice, but the Christmas like biting into an apple. That's kind of what you get here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got like a clean break to it.
Big German apple. 2 beautiful German apples smashed into a dirndl.
The boys at Cold Cans.
What's your take on it? Besides other things you've already bloviated on.
It's clearly better than Rainier at number 2, and I'm getting close to deciding whether it's better than Longboard. It's just for me, I get the burpees with wheat, and I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of people that get like that. Whatever that is that's giving me burps is
universal.
Is not universal, but that everybody's feeling, right? They may not get the burps, but they're getting whatever that.
Ooh, going out the other end?
We don't have to go there. Our listeners don't need that. I don't think it's ahead of, for me, Kona Longboard. I would put this at 2, the Ayinger Weisse, even though the experts will scoff, and the listeners who consider themselves experts.
Pish posh.
These guys don't understand spice and Christmas if it bit them in the dick. I don't care. I like Kona Longboard better. It's less pretentious, and to me has, I don't know, the enjoyment I got out of drinking this and that I got out of drinking that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Kona. So I would put this at 2. What about you?
Put it at 2. I think to play into our glorification of subjectivity, I'm going to slot this in at number 3 behind Rainier and Kona Longboard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we agreed last time that we have to agree, right?
We have to come to an agreement.
Okay, so let me argue this to you. Rainier, we talked about in the show how we get it at happy hours. It's $1 at a happy hour. It's a nice light drinking beer.
Yep.
It represents something to moving to a new area of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mountain baby.
So, but a lot of that was for us. Our listeners can still get the come out here and drink this at happy hour. They can experience a lot of that. But I don't know. I'm giving you my counterpoint. The counterpoint is I get it. The Christmas, they get it for $1, and that's why it's as high as it is. But they don't get the experience of this is my move to the other end of the country. They're just trying out this nice, light, crisp beer.
And to the listeners,
I'm so burpy.
No.
But the Weisse, I think, I don't think it has, at least for me, and that I'm aware of, any of the qualities you just described in terms of the atmosphere it can put you in, like Rainier can. I just think it's that much better than drinking a Rainier. Rainier's a fine beer, but it just, I don't know. It's that much better of a flavor. You're arguing that you don't enjoy this at that big of a chasm to Rainier.
Yes, pure enjoyment. I enjoy a Rainier every day of the week.
You know what? Because I like
the
Rainier.
Listeners.
Yeah, fuck the listeners. I like Rainier, and
the rankings are our rankings. The discussion is for the listeners to take something away from.
I'm fine with this. Let's.
Because we're no experts here. These are our own subjective rankings.
Okay, let's slot.
Ayinger.
One more time.
Ayinger.
Number 3 is the
Ayinger.
Weisse. Our third best beer, and Rainier is just going to sneak it out, and we'll see how long it stays there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Fuck the experts. It's going to be our third best
Fuck
beer.
us. Fuck the experts. We love the listeners, though.
Yeah. Follow us and tune in next week.
The Cold Cans podcast is recorded in the Overcast Room at Cloud Studios in Seattle, Washington. Visit cloudstudiosseattle.com